Hello friends and welcome to another episode of Cycling Insider. This is a CINELLI Pressure Road Bike, and in this episode I will give you the buyer's guide for this bike, and then at the end I will tell you should you just go ahead and buy it or should you just consider this bike. So you see, recently I got a question about this CINELLI Pressure Road Bike, and also I've heard from a few mechanics that the quality of these carbon frames and forks is pretty high, so they have a very good quality control, and it's definitely better than your average, let's say, canyon bike or track bike or specialized bike. So definitely I was a bit intrigued with this kind of quality of the carbon frames and the forks with CINELLI bikes. So CINELLI bikes, a bit of history. They were founded in 1948 in Italy, so they are an Italian bike manufacturer founded by Cino CINELLI, so that's why the name is from the surname of the founder, and CINELLI was also a very successful bike racer. So you see, from 1948 all the way until today, they definitely have experience in making road bikes, and as I say, from everything I hear, seems like their quality control on the carbon frames and forks is very good. Of course, not on the levels of course, time bikes or look bikes, but a very good quality control. So this CINELLI Pressure Road Bike, who is this bike for? So this is a classical example of heavily aerodynamically optimized road bike. So everything from the carbon frame, fork, handlebars, seat post, everything is basically designed to go as fast as possible in a straight line and to minimize your drag. So definitely this is not going to be one of the lightest bikes or the stiffest bikes, but if you want to go as fast as possible in a straight line, then these heavily aerodynamically optimized bikes are your only choice. When we look at the paint scheme on this bike, there is only one paint scheme on offer. It is a beautiful paint scheme, so it is a combination of classical white blue with a hint of orange. Definitely Italian bike brands know how to create a beautiful paint scheme, but when you consider that the retail price is 3,800 British pounds, I would expect that CINELLI to offer at least another paint scheme on this bike. Also, I will briefly mention here that definitely CINELLI has confidence in their carbon frames and the forks, because you can buy a frame set on this bike for 2,500 British pounds. So you see, out of the full bike of 3,800 British pounds, the frame set will set you back 2,500 British pounds. Specifically in this episode, I want to focus on the CINELLI Pressure Ultegra road bike, so with the Ultegra group set, and this is this retail price of 3,800 British pounds. So now we can dive into the specifications of this bike and really see what do you get for your hard-earned money. As always, we can kick off with the frame and the fork on this bike. So the frame is a carbon fiber Columbus monocoque carbon fiber frame, and also the fork Columbus monocoque carbon fiber fork. Of course, there's an internal cable routing on the frame and the fork. You also have 12mm through axles both front and the back, and this frame comes with the press fit bottom bracket 86.5mm. Of course, this frame is designed for the hydraulic disc brakes, so flat mount disc brakes on the frame, and the maximum tire clearance you can use is up to 30mm, which is always very nice. I'm also glad that CINELLI here gives the weight of the frame, which is 990 grams, and the fork is 390 grams. I'm guessing this is for some kind of size medium, but still, I always consider these frames which are below 1 kilogram to be, very good, very light frames, specifically when you consider that this is aerodynamically optimized frame and the fork. So 990 grams, very impressive in my book. Now let's talk about some of the smaller pieces on the bike, like the handlebar and the stem. So you see, the handlebar is the DEDA 02, and the stem is FSA ACR stem. So both of these pieces are separate pieces. It seems to me that nothing is proprietary here. This handlebar DEDA 02, as far as I know, is aluminum handlebar, but please just check this with your CINELLI bike dealer. There's absolutely no problems if it's an aluminum handlebar, and as I say, nothing is proprietary here. It should be easy to replace in the future if you really want, or if you want to specifically adjust your position on the bike very kind of precise, then it's easy to do with these separate pieces of the handlebar and the stem. Now when you look at the seat and the saddle and the seat post, so the saddle is the Selle Italia Model X Superflow. Very good saddles from Selle Italia, always in my opinion. But if you don't like this saddle, then it's always a personal preference, and it's very easy to replace and upgrade the saddle. When it comes to the seat post, they're mentioning here that it comes with a CINELLI C-winged seat post. I'm guessing this is a carbon fiber seat post, a bit of a D-shaped aerodynamically optimized seat post. Another thing to check with the CINELLI dealer, I really hope that this seat post is carbon fiber seat post, because it should be, in my opinion. If it's not, that would be the first thing I would upgrade on this bike. Now let's talk about the drivetrain on this bike. So the shifters, front mech and the rear mech, everything is Shimano's Ultegra R8000 mechanical group set. So this is 11-speed group set from Shimano. Absolutely superb mechanical group set. No complaints here from me. Now when you look at the braking system on the bike, it is of course Shimano Ultegra hydraulic disc brakes, but I have no clue why they have used the Tektro braking rotors. Tektro 160mm at the front and 140mm at the back. So first thing first, this 140mm rotors at the back, I would replace immediately with 160mm braking rotor, just because of better heat dissipation and better stopping power. And also these Tektro TR braking rotors definitely can't be compared with, for example, Shimano Ultegra braking rotors. So this is another part where you can upgrade in the future. When you destroy these rotors, buy yourself a classical Shimano Ultegra braking rotors. Braking performance is going to be so much better. Also, when you look at the cassette on this bike, again, cutting corners in my opinion, it's a Tifosi HG11 cassette. So it's 1134 cassette, and this cassette is paired with the FSA Gossamer Pro Evo crankset, which is 3450 crankset. Okay, for this crankset, of course, this Gossamer Pro crankset, again, in my opinion, no comparison with the Ultegra crankset, but for now, I wouldn't be so bothered with this crankset. But this cassette is definitely another cutting corners, in my opinion. Tifosi cassette, first of all, I've never used it, almost never heard about it, so I have no clue about the reliability of it, but definitely I would buy myself a decent Shimano 105 cassette or Shimano Ultegra cassette, just because of the compatibility with the whole group set. Also, this chain set, as I say, Gossamer Pro, okay, ride it as it is. Once when you destroy the chain rings, just again upgrade at least to the Shimano 105 crankset or the Shimano Ultegra crankset. Chain, they are using a KMC X11 chain, which is totally fine, no problems here. In the future, you can keep it on the KMC chains, or you can also use the Shimano 11-speed chains, whichever is the compatible from Shimano 105, Shimano Ultegra chains. Now let's talk about the wheel set on this bike, because you are getting a Vision Team 30 tubeless wheel set. So this Vision Team 30, if you would buy it on the open market, has a retail price of 330 euros, and it is a classical aluminum wheel set. So 30 millimeters is the rim depth, 24 spokes front and the back. It is a tubeless ready, but of course you will need to provide your own tubeless tape and the tubeless valves. It comes with the hubs from Vision, so classical CNC machined aluminum hubs with seal cartridge bearings. And I will mention here that the total weight of the wheel set is 1,900 grams. In my opinion, a decent wheel set from Vision, no problems here. 1,900 grams, perfectly fine for a classical aluminum wheel set. And definitely, use it until it falls apart, and then I would advise you to upgrade the wheels. Always have a look first at DT Swiss wheels and see if you can afford any of them. If not, there's always, another good brands. You can always have a look at Shimano wheels. You can have a look at Zip wheels. There's a lot of good wheels out there. So all in all, what is my advice to you when we consider the retail price of this bike is 3,800 British pounds? Well, definitely my advice is to go ahead and just consider this bike. The things that really bother me on this bike is the usage of this Tektro cassette. I believe it should have been at least Shimano 105 cassette. Also, I would say these braking rotors, again, Tektro braking rotors. I have no clue why it's not at least the Shimano 105 level braking rotors, and also why is this rear rotor only 140 millimeters. So these are the things that I would, need to change immediately. And also in the future, definitely this FSA Gossamer crankset, I would upgrade to the Shimano 105 or Shimano Ultegra crankset. So you see, there's a bit of compromises they needed to do. I'm guessing majority of the money went into the carbon frame and the fork. So I would say if you are really interested in this CINELLI Pressure road bike, then definitely think about it that you are buying a quality carbon fiber frame and the fork and then slowly upgrading the pieces. But as it is, at 3,800 British pounds, I just think you should consider this bike. So I think this is going to be it for today. I hope you like what I'm doing, and if you do, keep on watching, keep on liking, and as always, I will see you soon in the next episode. Cheers!